So Microsoft founder Bill Gates said that European countries need to make it difficult for African migrants to leave their countries. He was concerned, of course, about the influx and the growing number of people leaving the continent. What do you make of his statement?
I heard of that statement. As a person, I must be sincere. I wasn't too comfortable with that word, making things difficult. You know, from a human being, an American who has an unfettered access to all African countries, you know, building industries and all of that. There is no restriction. As much as we know that we are looking for ways and means, you know, to curb migration, you know, probably to forestall brain drain. I think that is the major issue. But using the word making things difficult, it will affect persons who have good intentions.
Well, he didn't say making things difficult. He said make it difficult.
Make it difficult means put every machinery in motion to
discourage people.
To discourage people. And when you say discouraging people in quotes, it might inadvertently affect other persons who might have good intentions of living abroad. Secondly, why I said I'm not too comfortable as a leader of an organization, because I got privy to that word. And we lead young people, and you know the way they react, they respond to issues. These are white people who have access to all our lands in Africa. They have industries, they have farmers, they do all of these. Tourists, they build industries, everything that we virtually purchase in Africa is from them. And in return, you are saying, make it difficult. I mean, come on, this should be our problem. It should be an internal problem.
Well, you know, it's also a problem for Europe too, because no matter the number of people who are leaving, they can't send them back. You know, when they find them at sea, most times people are at boats and dinghies adrift at sea.
But do they find it difficult coming to our country? That's what I just want us to deal with that issue. They don't find it difficult coming here. They also migrate too.
But the intensity is not as much.
Yeah, it might not really be as much, but
they go through a much more, you know, scrutinized legal process to get here, visa process to get here. They come by planes. They don't go on boats. They don't, you know, go through illegal means to get to Africa. So that's the difference.
Yeah, that does not also mean that I understand what you are saying, but I just want to make a point. That doesn't also mean that there are no illegal migrants, whites, in Nigeria.
True.
There are, you know, some of them. So how did they get in here?
They came in, first of all, probably via legal means, and then their visas expired and they're still here.
Fine. Okay. The word difficult is what I'm trying to deal with.
I get what you're saying.
Trying to deal with that.
So it's also a major problem for European countries. Members of the Commission held a meeting earlier this month to discuss the migrant crisis. They blamed the rescue officials, they blamed the Coast Guard and so on, who say that they're sort of encouraging the pull from African countries into Europe. I mean, if they're always rescuing people at sea, then it means that they're encouraging others who are yet about leaving to come over, because they will also be rescued. And you know, that's some of the prayers that, you know, migrants have when they're boarding these boats, that they will be found at sea by, you know, Italian Coast Guards, or basically Italian Coast Guards, who are the ones the most prominent right now at sea, and they'll be taken into Europe. And then, you know, the whole process starts about whether you can stay, whether your basis of asylum seeking is, you know, is legit and all that.
Yeah, blaming these security personnel, you know, in those borders is not out of place, because they aid and also abet, you know, entrance. It depends on if it is illegal. They do that, which is not good. You know, they are encouraging, as much as I know humans might want to express that soft part of a human being, you know, looking at their plight, oh, they have gotten this far, can I ask them to go back again at this point? Might not really justify, my conscience might not take that. Yeah, but the other side is affecting the economy of both countries. So I think they should be more professional. You know, if it is illegal, it's illegal. But now, how do we, the most important thing is, what do we do to even block this access to that point? Because that is almost the last point of entrance. They took off from somewhere. So I think we have to define what is best for us as a country to do, to even stop it from within before getting to that point of whether to allow or not by these security guards.
Yeah, it's a very thin line between being a humanitarian and then, you know, actually trying to do what is right.
Yeah.
Yes, because if you find boats adrift at sea, you are obligated to rescue. I mean, or else people will die. And sometimes these coast guards don't even get to people on time. to rescue them. So the much that they're able to, it's overwhelming, I understand, for these Coast Guards. But really, what can they do if they're being accused of encouraging the pool? What else can they do?
It's a very difficult thing because we are talking out of experience. I don't wish to be to witness that. As scary as it sounds, I've not seen something like that before. But then we watch them, on televisions on a daily basis. So what they should do, of course, there has to be a very effective emergency approach, to curb that and save lives at the same time. At the same time, putting up, mercenaries in motion to discourage influx. Because if you discourage, you have little, to worry about. But where they are there, you cannot allow them to, there has to be a way of saving lives.
Do you think Nigeria is doing enough to discourage people from going to Europe?
Nigeria is not doing enough. I'm yet to be convinced as a human being. They are not doing enough because we seem to have everything is porous in this country. Put enablement on ground. People are not feeling dividend of this citizenship. Like I said, if you have this sense of citizenship, I think you automatically be discouraged of thinking, out of the country. But because anything goes, is an elitist thing, people they have the, money to fly out at the tip of any sign of problem. But these downtrodden ones cannot. So when they have any escape routes, they think this is my life opportunity to leave. We are not doing enough. We have not done enough.
Or is it that people are just too determined? Because the deportations going on every day. People are being deported from Italy, people are being deported from the UK, people are being deported even from Libya on an almost regular basis in Nigeria. And yet people are still making the trip back into Europe.
Yeah, remember during the first stanza of this thing, I said it's a dual kind of, stuff. People are pretty too determined, I agree with you. But then something prompted that. If everything on the average, is well in place infrastructurally and all of that. Do you know that some of our best brains are leaving highly paid jobs? I know of persons who have left highly paid jobs to Europe in the name of, living abroad. And if you ask them, what could be your driving force? They will tell you, they will give you flimsy excuses. Maybe I have never experienced light out for the past 10 years. There is, a health facility for human being. Here we are not considered as human beings. You are on your own if you have any issue. There is no insurance that covers you in Nigeria.
That's the feeling people get.
That is the feeling, and that is it. That is the truth. So it is just these elites that have access to some of these things. My grandmother in the village, who cares about my grandmom? But over there, automatically at that age, so most of them might wish to migrate and get aged over there so as to enjoy health facilities where it is free for the aged or certain range of persons. It is not like that here. So our leadership is not also encouraging people to stay. So citizenship comes to bear.
What do you say to people who are already making that move, who are already in the process of taking that route through the Sahara, getting to Libya, and then hopping on a boat, taking them straight to Europe? Yeah,
in all fairness, I would discourage that, to its entirety because of the risk that is involved. My major concern is the risk. It does not whatever notion you may have in mind that is driving you to leave abroad in the name of getting, I don't know. So I would discourage them. If you must leave, there is nothing wrong in migrating. Let's not get confused here. We're talking about illegally migrating. Migration is a movement from one end to the other. So you have every right to migrate. So if you must go through the normal process, then when the authorities, the personnel representing whatever countries in our country approves of you leaving to their country, then that one is normal. But whereby you are denied visa or access, then stay back and, let's help join the government in building our nation in any little way we can.
Mr. Obi Naweke, it's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
This is where we end the program. Share with us your thoughts on the topic by dropping us a comment on @diplomatic chan or @amarachi_ubani. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.